Now let's just move on further with the question number 2, which says the following distribution give the state-wise teacher-student ratio. Find the mod and the mean of the data. So first of all, the data is given to us in this particular formation. You can see the number of the students slash teachers are given to us in this particular format, and the number of the states are given as this. Now let's just find out the mod of this distribution first. So first of all, I am just taking this table. So you can see over here that for this particular table, we have to find out the mod, and the mod is actually nothing but we have to find the model class first in order to find out the mod. So as you can see, the class which do have the maximum frequency over here is nothing but this. You can see all by yourself that this is nothing but your model class. So 30 to 35 is actually considered as nothing but a model class. So for this model class, now we are going to find out the mod. So we know that the mod is actually is equal to L plus F1 minus F0 by 2, F1 minus F0 minus F2 into of H. Now let's just plug in all the values over here. So first of all, L is nothing but the lower limit, and the lower limit of this model class is 30 plus of F1. F1 is actually nothing but the frequency of this particular class, model class, that is nothing but 10 minus F minus of F0. F0 is nothing but the frequency of the previous class. F2 is nothing but the frequency of the succeeding class. After plugging in all the values over here, and H, which is nothing but the class size is nothing but 5, we are finding out the mod as nothing but is equal to 30.625. So after calculation, we are getting the mod as nothing but is equal to 30.625. So this is the mod. Now let's just move on further towards finding out the mean. So we already know that we can find the mean using 3 methods. So you can apply any method: direct method, step deviation method, assumed mean method, in order to find out the mean. So let us suppose if I'm just starting finding out the mean. So first of all, neglect all these columns. So the very 2 columns are these only. Now for these columns, we are first of all finding out the class mark, and I'm using a step deviation method over here. So using the step deviation method, I'm finding out the mean. So first of all, you can see over here, these are the 2 columns that are given to us. So the next column would be of nothing but of the class mark, which is represented as xi. We know that the class mark is nothing but upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. So 15 plus 20 divided by 2 is 17.5, and further we have 20 plus 25 divided by 2. So let us suppose if I'll write it over here, this is nothing but 15 plus of 20 divided by 2, which is 35 by 2, and further this is nothing but 20 plus 25 divided by 2, and in the same manner we are finding out all the class marks. Now we are moving on further towards UI deviation. So this is nothing but xi minus of A. So what is A? A is nothing but the assumed mean. We know that A is nothing but the assumed mean. So let's just find out the value of assumed mean. So here assumed mean is actually the central value, or the value which is at the center in between all the xi's. So we can see over here that these two values are actually in the center of all these xi. So we can take any particular value over here. Either we can choose a 32.5 or either we can choose 37.5, but here I'm choosing 32.5 over here because of the reason that it do have a maximum frequency. So I'm just choosing 32.5. You can also choose 37.5. So I'm just choosing 32.5 over here. So A is nothing but my 32.5. So A is nothing but the assumed value, which is 32.5. So I am just plugging in all the values in the formula xi minus of A by H. So this would be nothing but xi minus 32.5 divided by H. H is nothing but the size of the class. You can see the size of the class is nothing but 5. So this is xi minus 32.5 divided by 5. So after just plugging in all the xi's over here, we are getting the answer as minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so goes on. Now the next particular column is of the multiplication of the frequencies with the UI. So UI is nothing but minus of 9, because you can see the frequency is given to us as nothing but 3, and with respect to its UI we have minus of 3. So 3 into minus of 3 is nothing but minus of 9. Further we have the value as 8 into minus of 2, which is minus of 16. Further we have 9 into minus of 1, which is minus 9. Further we have 10 into 0, which is equal to 0. We have 3 into 1, which is equal to 3. Further we have 0 into 2, which is 0 again, and 0 into 3, which is 0 again. Further we have 2 into 4, which is nothing but is equal to 8. And after just taking the sum of all these FIUIs, we are getting sigma FIUI as nothing but is equal to minus of 23. Now let's just plug in all the values in the step deviation formula where we can able to find out the mean. So X bar is actually nothing but the representation of the mean, and the formula of this is nothing but A plus H sigma of FIUI divided by sigma of FI. Now let's just plug in all the values over here. A is actually 32.5, so this is 32.5 plus of H. What is H over here? H is nothing but 5, so this is 5 into FI sigma FIUI. Sigma FIUI is minus of 23, so this is minus of 23 divided by sigma FI. So what is the value of sigma FI? It is 35. It is 35, so this is 35. Now let's just sort it out. This would be 5, this would be nothing but a 7, and we have this as 32.5, and we have plus minus is minus, this is minus 23 by 7 we are getting. So this is nothing but the value that we have, which is minus 23 by 7 at the end. So let us suppose if I am just taking a subtraction of all these, so what can we get after this? So after cancelling 23 and 7, we are just getting the value as 32.5 minus of 3.28, and after taking the subtraction of these two, we are getting the answer as 29.22. So this is actually nothing but X bar, which is nothing but the mean of this data. So X bar is nothing but, so let us suppose if I'll write it over here, mean. So this is nothing but the mean of this particular grouped frequency distribution. So this is all about this question, in which we have calculated the mod as well as the mean. First of all, the mod using the formula means after calculating or finding out the modular class, we have calculated the value of mod, and after that we have calculated the mean using the step deviation method. So this is all about this question.